Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Penelope and I'm glad you're here. I hope your week is going well. It is a beautiful day today here in Florida, and this video is another book versus movie or TV show. So I am really excited about this one because this was the top, I think it was the top book for me, like my favorite book I've read this year, and it's actually a series. It is this series. It started with My Fault by Mercedes Ron. This is the first book. She is amazing. I really love it. And let me just stop you right there. I read for entertainment, okay? I read to be happy, to be sad, to escape my reality every now and then. That's what I read for, okay? So if you're looking for self-help books, I don't got none of that here. I think you're in the wrong video, and I'm sorry for that. Anyway, so I am really excited about this series because the second movie is coming out, which is based on the second book, which is Your Fault, and it's right here. Okay, and this is gonna be a separate video after I see the movie, which comes out December 28th, I believe. I am almost done with this one. Okay, I only have just a little bit left. So let's start with My Fault. If you have not seen the movie, I want to start by saying it was the best adaptation of a movie I have ever seen. This whole video is gonna have spoilers, so if you have not read the book or seen the movie, please do not stick around. Go watch that, go read that first, and then come back. So My Fault is about this girl who moves from Canada to California, and she's really upset because her mother got remarried and made her move. And you know, back in high school, I would feel the same way. I'm not that old, okay, but I would feel the same way. She was upset. She left her family, her boyfriend, and she was like, I don't know why I'm being dragged all the way over here. Now the mom, though, she got married to a gazillionaire because he's super rich. He has a son and his name is Nick. So of course the step siblings, and yes, they do fall in love. A lot of people were like, oh my god, that is disgusting. Listen, that's your personal opinion and this is mine. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're not blood related and they just met, and they met grown. It's not like they met when they were super little. There were a lot of people who did not like the idea of the step sibling situation, and I understand why. However, this is my personal opinion. I liked it, okay? The other reason was the age difference. Noah, which is the main girl, Noah is 17 to 18 years old, and Nick is about 4 years older than she is. I love this story, okay? I fell in love. If you haven't seen the movie, it is on Prime. I'm not getting paid for this. Now, if Prime wants to sponsor me, go ahead. The movie is called Your Fault or Culpa Mia. It is in Spanish, but you can watch it in English. They have it dubbed in English as well. There wasn't a lot of different details. I don't think a lot was taken out, but I did notice some things when I read the book. I saw the movie first, I fell in love with it, and I was like, I have to read the book, and so I did. I noticed that they meet and they're constantly being interrupted by the parents, and I was like, dang, always something happens. Like, you know, when they were getting close, something happens, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But in the book, actually, it's not that way at all. The parents are not even around. They're flying everywhere. They got business deals to close. So it was pretty chill. They had a lot of time together, a lot of time to bond. It did not happen immediately. They couldn't stand each other. So this book is an enemies to lovers, which I love. It took a long time. I think they got together like halfway through the book, and I was like, damn, when they gonna get together? Girl, I had to read so much. But there was a lot of things happening. Noah has a lot of trauma. Her mom and her were escaping Noah's father. They were experiencing domestic abuse. There you go. And they have a lot of trauma, and Noah is completely traumatized by the things she saw her mom go through and the things that her dad also kind of did to her. He never really touched her until like the very end when things were really, really bad. So Nick is a rich boy, but he's actually super smart. He's in college. He's studying law, and he's supposed to be joining his father's law firm. So even though he's really smart, he's also stupid, and he has so much anger because of things that happened with his mother that is not mentioned a lot in book 1. In book number 2, I see a little bit of information being brought in, but there's not a whole lot of what happened to Nick in book 1. Nick loves racing cars, fighting to get paid. So Noah sees this guy, and that is now her quote-unquote brother, and she's like, I want nothing to do with him. One thing that I did notice was in the book, Noah suffers multiple kidnappings attempts after the first encounter with Ronnie. And you can see Ronnie in the first race when she jumps in the car. She was not supposed to be racing, but he kind of was like, you can't beat me, and she's like, oh, watch. Now in that scene, after she finishes the race and wins, things go sideways. He kind of like pointed with his fingers at her, but there was no gun in the movie. Now in the book, he shot at her. So that's a big difference from I'm gonna just point at you from that to I shot at you is crazy to me. I feel like that's a detail that should have been included. Ronnie kind of got obsessed with her, and in the movie we see for a very brief time that Noah gets a waitressing job. Well, in the book it goes a little more deeper into it. Like, she received messages and calls from a random number, and we know that it turns out to be her dad. Another detail that I noticed, which is not very big of course, is their first time. So we know that in the movie the first time is at the beach, but in the book it doesn't go that way. It was in Nick's room, and they did not get interrupted either, which I was really happy for, because I didn't want to be traumatized a second time. So they basically didn't really get found out in the book. They came forward with it once Noah got kidnapped. So how it happened in the movie, the dad walks in the movie and sees them together, and he's like, you know what, we're gonna deal with that later. Something's going on with your sister. It doesn't happen like that in the book. That incident with the sister does happen though. Now I don't mind that detail at the beach, in his room. Fine with me, okay? I think I can settle with that. Another detail was how Noah's dad was killed. And in the movie we know that there was a whole chase, right? A car chase. Noah's driving. Her dad is by her side pointing a gun at her, and Nicholas is behind them, basically trying to save Noah from the whole thing. The police ends up shooting him and unaliving him. So in the book it's way different. There is no car chase. Noah gets kidnapped, and they find his location eventually because of the car. That does happen. So in that garage they found the car where Ronnie was in the movie. He was knocked out somewhere. So in that garage was where he was holding Noah, and that was also where they found them, and he got killed at that garage by the police. So the details are not big, which makes the movie and the book such a success, in my opinion. There are a lot of details that you are welcome to read in the book. I love reading about them. I think they were helpful. Understanding especially things that I was like, why did that happen in the movie? For example, Noah, when Nick and her had that fight and they were basically broken up for a while, and she gets drunk at her senior party, I think it was, and one of the girls shoves her into this closet, and she starts freaking out because of the trauma that she experienced before with her dad. So I was very curious as to how did we get there, so when I read the book, things start adding up. So what happens in the book is Noah is at a senior's party, but it was not at somebody's house. It was in the school, and this is a rich kids school, right? It's a private school, so they throw this party every year, and they do pranks on the new kids. So Noah was a new kid. She had just transferred. People knew about her. So Jenny can't find Noah. She texted Nick, but you need to come pick her up because I'm about to leave. So Nick goes over there to the school. He can't find her, looking everywhere, and all he can hear is Noah screaming like, at the top of her lungs, like screaming like she was dying or somebody was killing her, like screaming. That's how the book describes it. And you can hear from the first floor, meaning the screams were not coming from there. They were coming from like the second floor. She was shoved into this locker, and there were all these people gathered around. And it was supposed to be a joke, a prank, but they knew that Noah had this fear about being in closed, dark places. So when Nick gets there, you need to read that book. When Nick gets there, he basically starts punching everybody who was in the way, gets her out, and she can't even recognize who he is. That's how traumatized that girl was. So I think that would have been a little bit, I would have liked that detail, because that's when Nick starts to get suspicious about the things that Noah had gone through. Also, in the movie, it is said that Noah's dad tried to kill her. That's not really what happened. In the book, Noah is trying to escape her father before he does anything to her. She felt like he was gonna start beating her up, and so she was like, you know what, my only choice, because my mother is not here, is to jump out my window. So her window was open, and the dad found her climbing out. Things get a little rough. She jumps out, but the window breaks, and as she's coming down, she gets that scar in her stomach that we see in the movie. So that's what happened. It's not like he really grabbed like a knife, how they said, and just went to stab her. That's not exactly how that went. Now, the book itself, I recommend it, and so I recommend the movie too. I am really excited for the second movie to come out, Your Fault. There is a third book, which I have not read yet because I'm finishing book number 2. But I love the story. It's original. I feel like it has surprised me in a lot of ways. And even though a lot of people were not a fan of this because of the whole sibling, that they're not sibling because they're not blood related, I understand the parents, okay? I understand, like, dang, we got married, we wanted our kids to be our children, not for them to fall in love. I get that. But what happened, okay? If you have not seen it yet, I do encourage you to watch it. I'm sorry, because I did spoil some things for you here, but it's still so good. I've seen that movie like 4 times, okay? So I am glad that you guys watched till the end. If you have any suggestions for me, let me know. I have a whole list of books that I've read and that have been done an adaptation to, and I'm going to be doing more videos like this. So thank you so much guys for watching, and until next time.